Hi guys, and welcome back to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whiskey blog. I'm Andy and I'm back with another whiskey review for you today. It's one I'm quite excited for as well. I'll be honest, I'm excited for all of them because I love whiskey. I mean, why would I be doing this otherwise? But this is a brand new release. This came out, today is the 20th of February. This was released, I think, on the 15th, possibly 14th. All the days are blending into one at the minute, guys. I'll be honest with you, as you could probably appreciate. It's from a distillery that's becoming increasingly popular. It's owned by the same company, Springbank. It's Glengyle Distillery. It's Kilkerran. It's the latest cask strength 8-year-old Kilkerran single malt Scotch whisky, bottled at 56.9%, non-chill filtered, natural colour, and matured exclusively in ex-sherry casks. Now, another reason I'm quite excited to do this is because this is going to be the first time that I've tried it. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to open this for you today and try it. I am going to let it air out because straight out of the bottle, it's not going to be the same. So I am going to leave it for probably about an hour. So there will be a split in the video where I'll come back to it with a bit of air to it. But I suppose what I'll do is I'll pour it, and just before I go off and wait, I'll talk about something else, whiskey related. So again, guys, 56.9%, 8 years old, natural colour, non-chill filtered. We know that because it says it on the tube and on the bottle as well, and there it is on the back of the bottle. Non-chill filtered and natural colour, happy days. Dark, it's dark, it sure is. Would I say that that's as dark as the previous iteration, the Recharred Oloroso 8-year-old? I don't think it is. It's also a little bit weaker as well, not by much. I think the old one was what, 57 point something? I can't see it, it's on the top shelf. Anyway, here we go, guys. So this sold out like within seconds, not even joking. So do you know what? I'm just going to open it. It's my only bottle. I've not got 2 or 3 or 5 stashed away for auction or anything like that because I don't do that. This is my only one, and I cannot. It's like foolproof tinfoil. I can't get into the bloody lid. When you come back in an hour, I might have it open. Should we use the back of a spoon? Because I will be using water with this. Jeez, that was hard work, wasn't it? Right, one, and here we go, guys. There's another one open, done and dusted. So whilst I'm going to pour what I believe will be a generous portion of this, I'm going to talk about this release in a bit more of a generic way. So I said already that this sold out within seconds, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, this sold out within seconds. Like Master of Malt, Whisky Exchange, Royal Mile Whiskies, posted on Twitter, and then boom, gone. And that's great, because that means that the whiskey's moving and it's keeping the company in business. I mean, otherwise, if we don't buy the whiskey, they're not going to be around for long, are they? But, I caveat that with a but. There is seemingly an ever-increasing sense of something called FOMO in whiskey. FOMO, and that stands for fear of missing out. I mean, this costs 50 quid RRP. So it's a £50 whiskey. Comparatively to some others in the market, and given the quality of previous releases, understandably there's a bit of a fanfare and a bit of a rush to get it. Because, realistically, it provides pretty good value for money in today's market. So there's that. There's just an absolute bum fight at the minute to get any limited release. I mean, today, as I speak, or was it yesterday, was the release of the first ever single malt from Torbeg Distillery, Torbeg, don't know how you pronounce it, on Skye, which is only the second distillery on Skye to release a single malt. Obviously, Talisker is the mainstay of Skye, and now you've got another distillery there, which is fantastic. However, again, RRP'd at 50 quid, boom, gone. People are just going absolutely nuts at the minute with releases. And I reviewed recently on the website, maltboxwhiskey.com, I reviewed the Bunnahabhain 28-year-old Untold Riches from Weems Malts. And if you haven't read that already, go and check it out, because that stuff is, oh, it is good. And there's a bit of fanfare about that, but there's some of that still knocking around. And you know, I bought that. It's the most I've ever spent on a bottle of whiskey. I won't spoil the surprise, because genuinely, go and read the review on maltboxwhiskey.com, because I really enjoyed it. But saying that, it's kind of just, after spending so much on one bottle, I've decided to have a 3-month ban on buying whiskey, because I was getting caught up like everyone else. I was doing it with Bimber last year. Every Bimber release, I was straight in there getting it. And now I'm like, do you know what? I've still got some. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to save some money. Maybe buy something that isn't whiskey for a change. Put it away for a holiday if I ever get that ever again. So the Kilkerran, you've basically, it creates, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, I'd say, because it creates some fanfare around the release, it creates some more publicity for the brand, it creates a following of the distillery, but then there's always going to be people that don't get it because they're not quick enough, and other people buy 6 bottles of it. I saw an Instagram post today on, I won't name the account, but he had like 10 bottles of the Springbank Madeira. 10. I was like, why do you need 10? You don't need 10, do you? That's potentially 8 or 9 people that have been screwed over with, you know, not able to get one. And it's the same here. You know, I mean, I only bought one because I only wanted one. I'm being a bit more reserved now as to what I spend my money on and how much of it I spend. So basically, guys, don't give in to FOMO. If you miss out, don't worry about it. There's plenty more whiskey out there. There's loads. There's plenty of people producing some fantastic spirit at fantastic prices. So just calm down, chill. Let's all do it together. Sense, common sense. Right, speaking of common sense, I've got my whiskey. I'm going to go away for an hour, come back, let it air out. I will be trying it with and without water. See you in a minute. Back now after an hour and a couple of games on the Xbox and a cup of coffee. So now I'm raring to go. So before I get started and kick off what this whiskey is giving me, I'd just like to give a shout out to two people. I recently mentioned, and I'm not going to push it again, that I've basically set up a Patron, and I've now got 2 patrons, and I really appreciate both of them. So that's out to Menno and Dan, you know who you are. Really do appreciate your support, and hopefully it will enable me to provide some additional content and some more enriching content for the wider whiskey community. So thanks again, and here's to you. So, non-chill filtered natural colour, Kilkerran, 8 years old. Can I remember what kind of sherry casks these were matured in? No I can't. But it's sherry. Wow, that was a rookie error, wasn't it? Whatever, do you know, it doesn't matter. So, in the glass there, a nice sort of dark amber, sort of coppery, I'll probably say, a bit like copper coins. Like I said, it's already not as dark as the Richard Oloroso, which is the previous release. And again, that went like hotcakes, and everyone lost their mind about it because it was good, but they also lost their mind if they couldn't get it. But that will be darker because obviously those casks have gone through the recharring process. So they're incredibly charred. And that not only provides probably a little bit of additional colour, but also some more sort of like caramelisation in there as well into the wood, which will impact the flavour. So the legs on there are going down quite slowly, quite nice. So let's see what we've got on the nose. This is at full strength of 56.9%. Okay. Right. So initially, we've got some of that really nice, intense sherry influence. We've got like fruitcake, fruit mix, stewed fruit. We've got dates. You know, obviously it's 56.9%. It's a little bit hot, but you've got a nice kind of ginger cake vibe in there as well. That's going on. That's quite nice. I think the wine fridge is about to kick in again. So if you hear some weird sort of alien sounding noise in the background, that's just the compressor in the wine fridge just chilling out and keeping my wine cold. There's some like chocolate in there, milk chocolate I'd probably say, and some sort of bready, doughy, yeasty, bready element. Now, what there also is, which there wasn't for me personally, in the Richard Oloroso, and is something I am quite sensitive to, is sulphur. So you can probably tell that I'm a little, my face changed a little bit because it's not something that I've had in any other Kilkerran release before. I wouldn't say it's huge, but it is in there. Now, thankfully, it's not the rotten egg type compound of sulphur. It's kind of, for me, more of the vegetation, sort of decaying vegetation sort of smell, which isn't particularly pleasant, if I'm honest. However, there are a lot of other positives in there. We've got some licorice and some icing sugar, very sort of sweet, syrupy kind of note as well. Yeah, sulphur. So, I'm gutted. I really don't like it. Not the whiskey, I've not tried it yet, but I really don't like sulphur. And I was actually having a bit of banter with a couple of people on Twitter about it recently as well, because I am really sensitive to it. And I can't explain it to those of you that aren't and just think, you know, people that complain about sulphur being soft or weird. It's just something that you just, it sort of stands out. Imagine you've got like a desert landscape, which is kind of your average plain of flavour. Probably a bad analogy. But then in the middle, you've just got this massive sort of skyscraper, bit like Dubai now, come to think of it. And that skyscraper is the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb. And that is exactly what sulphur is like in a glass for someone like me that just doesn't get on with it. It just sticks out and then you can't see past it. You're like, ah! Right, on the palate. Wow, spicy. God damn it. Right. Cock. Right. Okay. Couple of things. That is spicy. When I just had it in my mouth before I'd even swallowed it, the tip of my tongue felt like someone was pricking needles into it. It's really intense, very spicy. Massive amounts of chili and ginger, cinnamon and things like that. Very intense, very good mouthfeel. Some lovely kind of like honey and golden syrup treacle notes, I'd say. And again, you've got some of those traditional Christmas cake, sherry kind of things. And do you know what? Eccles cakes. If you don't know what Eccles cakes are, they are a Lancastrian / Mancunian delicacy, which is basically some really nice buttery pastry, like proper butter. It's like 99% buttery pastry, stuffed with like raisins and suet mix and stuff like that. It's lovely. However, the reason that I kind of lost my thread a little bit after I swallowed it, the sulphur came back. It was just like a little, that doesn't make sense, but it's like a little pocket in the middle. And it's like someone's basically burst a bubble and it's just, drop my spoon. It's like someone's burst like a bubble and it's just sort of like gone poof. And then it's in there and then it's like mixed in with everything else and it taints it. Which is annoying. Right, let's try it with water. I have a sneaking suspicion that it will actually probably amplify it, because I think it will take down some of those other flavours, and then I think the sulphur might become a little bit more prevalent. I must have a face like a smacked arse, because I was really looking forward to this, and you know, I'm not saying I was not the first person in the queue. I'm not like one of those nutters in you know, in the US at Black Friday or over here on Black Friday, where you're waiting outside all night and then you're first in line for, you know, a discount toaster or something like that. You know, I got in there early. I think I bought mine at about 8:30 in the morning. Might have been a bit later than that, but I know that basically it was already sold out everywhere by then, so it was absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. But whilst that's opening up a little bit, I'm conscious that this is probably going to be quite a lengthy review because, again, I introduced you to the whiskey. I'm going to be trying it with and without water, and also I had that discussion about FOMO, which I really do think is quite important. You know, I mean, money's quite tight at the minute. People are furloughed. And I mean, ultimately, the economy is an absolute shit show anyway. You know, whiskey is a luxury. It is an absolute luxury. And you don't want to be getting into the position of seeing it as a commodity and just consistently chasing it down all the time. There are people that buy it to make profit. If that's your bag, fine. It's not mine. Personally, don't agree with it. But, I mean, I'm looking at my whiskey shelves now and I'm as guilty as anybody. I'm looking at all these whiskies and I'm thinking, am I going to get around to all those? And I've said it before. Probably not. If I do, I will probably have some sort of liver disorder if I did that. So I have been sharing a bit more with friends and family. I've been, you know, I saw my parents on Christmas Day, which was nice. Our only day of not lockdown in the UK, where you could see one other family sort of group. And my mum and dad came around, and I sent my dad home with a load of half-drunk bottles because it's really exciting because my dad's starting to get into whiskey recently, and it's quite nice because he's always been sort of interested in what I've done, as dads tend to be, and yeah, he's started drinking whiskey now, and yeah, we're getting there. You know, he's exploring different flavours and stuff. So I sent him on with a nice wide selection. So that kind of made space for other bottles. Probably not how it should be, but let's try that now. The water's been in there a little while. Again, not affected the consistency too much. Okay. Oh, right. It's still there. I'd actually say it's getting eggier. It's getting eggier as it goes along. It wasn't there at first and I went back in again and then it was just there in the background. Yeah, it is there. It's there. It's not the most sulphurous whiskey I've ever tried. I might as well get it out there. It's not. It's also already not the worst whiskey that I've ever tried. Sulphur for me usually just annihilates it. It's not as prevalent here, but it does seem that maybe 1 or 2 infected casks in the release. It's not an actual infection, but that's how I see it. Basically got mixed in, and that has kind of sort of sat there doing its thing. Some people like it. I don't. Again, sulphur that is. Yeah, it's just getting stronger. Really, really sulphurous on the nose now. But we do still have that kind of like ginger. I'm still getting some sort of like baked goods, like maybe toasted bread with butter. Initially going back to some of that honey again. And some sort of like nuttiness. Maybe like peanut oil or something like that you might use in cooking. Like on the palate. And sulphur, obviously. On the palate. Okay, right. Flat white coffee with oat milk, if you please, because I don't drink dairy. I'm an oat milk man. Millennial, right? I then actually, interestingly, got Marmite. I love Marmite. Some people hate it. I love it. Ironically, I don't like sulphur, but I like Marmite. Other people probably love sulphur and hate Marmite. We've got that nice sort of like very intense sort of Christmas cakey sweetness in there as well, sort of like brandy soaked fruit and raisins and stuff like that. We've got some more chocolate in there. This time it's sort of getting bitter on the finish, so I would describe it as sort of a very intense, heavy, rich, good quality dark chocolate, like high cocoa content. The sulphur is still there. It's probably not as prevalent as I was expecting. I thought, considering it would probably become more prevalent on the nose, it would become more prevalent on the palate. It's not. I think on the palate there is still that kind of vegetally decay note in there, but not as much as prior to adding water. Although, I mean, I've only left 5 minutes beforehand, so that could well change, I'll be honest. I appreciate this kind of a quick fire, not in time, but a quick fire review in the sense of how long this bottle's been open. So it will again change over the weeks as air gets to it. I think the more air gets to it, I think the more sulphurous it's going to be, going to become, unfortunately. Yeah, it's definitely there on the nose. It's getting eggier. No, oh damn it. Ah. Right. Like I said the other day, sulphur needs to get in the sun. Yeah, it's there. It is there. Right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. But it kind of comes back to my point on FOMO. There's going to be other people, and I know there already is other people that have rushed out and bought this and basically been like posting it on Instagram and Twitter and being like, yeah, look what I've got. And other people haven't been so lucky, which, you know, in a way isn't always nice to see because they're going to be a bit disappointed. However, they're going to be drinking this and may well be thinking, oh, do you know what? I kind of rushed to get that and it's not actually as good as I thought. However, you're not going to know. The problem is, like, with maybe a few years ago with a release like this, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even further back, say 5 years ago, I guess, you could probably still get this a couple of weeks after release because people have done reviews and stuff like that, and there wasn't necessarily much demand for stuff like this. And now there is. You don't get the time to look at the reviews before you go and buy it because you've already had to buy it because otherwise it will be gone. So it's too late, you've already got it, and that's the position I'm in. I'm going to be interested to see how it changes over the next few weeks. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to try and stick with it. There have been bottles that I've had to throw away straight away. I've thrown, I think, 4 full bottles of whiskey down the drain, including a Bruichladdich, and as you can probably tell from the coloured shelf at the bottom, I'm quite a fan of Bruichladdich. So, you know, I'm not averse to doing it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I've tried passing them on to friends and they didn't like it either. So there we are, guys. I mean, I'm gonna leave it there. But there is the review of the Kilkerran 8-year-old sherry cask, bottled at 56.9% and sulphury as hell. So don't forget to check out the social media at Maltbox on Twitter, at Maltbox Whisky on Instagram. Maltboxwhisky.com is now the home of Maltbox to work alongside the channel. I've already posted several reviews on there, so every review will now not be on this channel. It will be split with the website because I don't always have time to record at the minute. So here we are. And again, guys, I've got a Patron. I'm not going to link it, but if you donated, thank you very much. And I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to box it off. Hope you're all well. See you soon.